Well, everybody, I was guilty sitting on a part 2 of our CaseLabs S3 Mercury painting guide for the priming the case since past weekend. But unfortunately, I was a little bit busy, so I didn't have a chance to shoot this introduction video, which is a small tradition in our guest appearance series. So, this video is about how to put primer on. We can see the whole process, and entire video is about 22-24 minutes. And keep in mind that we condense huge work into those 22 minutes because it took 2 days to paint the entire thing. So you first coat, and that you wait things dry up, and after that you actually do the second coat and finish the things. So this is a lot of work, and I think everybody will appreciate what Hanover showing us and shares his experience with the stuff. I personally would ever try anything like this because it's beyond my capability. All I can do, take a spray can and paint it quickly, wait, paint more, and done. You see what I actually how I painted my Gentle Typhoon fans. Nothing sophisticated. This is high-end stuff, and very interesting to look at least in theory, how things can done. So I hope you enjoy the video, and we'll come soon with a part 3 because it's already in production. I'm just a little bit behind.
Hey guys, welcome back. Part 2 of the CaseLabs Mercury S3. Taking this from a powder-coated primer to a mocha pearl. And in the first part, we looked at wet sanding out some imperfections that were present in the top panel when it shipped to me. And it's really no big deal. We wet sanded it out with some 800 grit 3M wet or dry. And then the next step, we disassembled the case. And so I have the case now in pieces, as seen in the end of part 1. One thing I did forget to mention, anytime that you're going to use a primer sealer, like I'm going to, over a primer, you're going to want to lightly scuff it. So what normally what I use is a very fine Scotch pad, and this is not really sanding, but what you're going to do is just scuff the surface lightly to give the primer sealer something to grab onto, and just lightly scuff. It's not really going to take much. You just kind of rough the surface up for the once again for the primer sealer to have something to grab onto. This isn't really going to produce a lot of deep scratches or anything like that. So some real light scuffing of each piece. And if you're using a sealer and you need to change the color of this is a perfect method to get yourself ready for that sealer. What primer sealer really does is promote hiding and promotes adhesion of your base color to your metal surface. Behind me here you can see the ProForce 20-gallon compressor. That's what I use to power up both of my guns. I use a Shure Finex 1000 for my color coat. This is a 1.2 tip that'll handle medium solids like pearls and metallics, and also clears. And I have a primer gun that I use here. It's kind of a mini HVLP gun from DazMode. This way I can keep all of my primers in one gun and all of my colors and clear in another. Having a separate primer gun and a separate clear and color gun is just kind of the way to go for me. So one more part of the equation, I always use disposable respirators. SAS is the brand that I normally get from Napa. I get most of my stuff, well, all my stuff from Napa. So respirator, SAS suits. When using a compressor like this, it's very important to keep your air dry in your line. So you can use a mini inline disposable filter. 2 of these is around 24, 26 bucks. Something like that. Very important to keep your air dry. You don't want any kind of moisture in your product. Basically, we're ready to go. I'm just going to mix up a batch of first batch of sealer, and then we're going to jump into the booth. So I've got the gun set, got my material and my fan pattern set the way I want it, and I've blown the panels off with the air only adjustment for the gun, so I'm all ready to go. Like one full wet coat for this looks pretty good. I had my hanger kind of move and touch back there, but that's no big deal. we can fix that. And I mixed this sealer to be able to sand it. I mixed it in the 2K version with a hardener. So what we're going to do now is let it dry for half an hour, and then I'll have to sand those spots. I'll have to reposition the hangers and then just touch it again with a little bit of sealer. And I like mix it in the 2K, so it gives you that opportunity to sand. If you mix it in the 1K version with acetone, it's a wet on wet application. You can see where my hanger touched right there. So I didn't quite have that positioned right. I need to have those turned more so it hooks more in the back. You know, but oh well, no big deal. That's full coat right there. Okay, we're back. It's been 16 hours, I think, for drying, and it's completely dry to the touch. And we had a little bit of a problem right here where the hanger touched. We're gonna fix that though. And ultimately, accidents happen when you're painting, as all you who've tried your hand at painting know, whether it's bugs or dust or your hanger touched or you bumped your panel with your elbow, or little accidents happen like that. And ultimately it's how you deal with it. First thing to learn is, for me, don't try and rush in real quick and try and fix something. Always just back off, let it dry, and wet sanding or sanding can be your friend to get rid of problems. You can see this turned out pretty nice. There's a couple of little spots, little orange peels that we're going to get rid of right now. I really don't want that there when I shoot the pearl on it. So once again, we're going to take some 800 and we're just going to go over this, and my water's going to run all over the place, I can see. So we'll just take this down real quick. Just cut the top off. So I'm past the 12-hour dry time, so I'm safe to scuff this. And manufacturer actually calls out for 600, but I'm just using 800. No big deal. And these little spots in the back that the hanger was touching are kind of thick. They're kind of deep. So you can see an example of cutting through on the edge right there. But I'm not too worried about it, as we're going to go back in and hit this thing anyway with the sealer again. You can see how I talked about in the first video, trying to stay away from your edges. You can see what happens to your edges. They'll cut through real quick. See that? Right there. Ultimately, you don't want to have to sand, but I don't exactly have a professional downdraft booth, so I'm always going to get a little bit of something in there on the surface. And that's the reason I use a hardener with this sealer. It has two mixing options, one with acetone and one with hardener. And the acetone, if you mix with acetone, there's a real limited dry window before you shoot your color right over it. Not really meant for sanding. So you spray the sealer on, you wait. Not very long. And then take your base coat color right on it. You don't touch it with sandpaper at all. But with the hardener version, the 2K version, allows you to be able to fix things. Ultimately, I always end up having to do that. Takes a little bit of the little dust nibs off the top. Which for me, I don't mind. I mean, I enjoy painting, so this to me is just part of the process. I think that's probably pretty smooth for the top. You can see some of their where they tack on these extensions. You see some of that in the top there. So we're just gonna fix this spot right where the hanger was touching, right there. What we're gonna do is just start taking that down. All you want to do is really just get it smooth. We're gonna shoot the sealer over it again. Cut some of that sealer off of there and get it flush, just so we don't have any kind of raised edge or a kind of a hole effect. Just run your finger over it, make sure it's smooth. So once again, accidents happen. It's just how you deal with them. That's ultimately gonna dictate how your finish is gonna look in the end. Just don't get in a hurry. Make sure you have plenty of patience. And there's the other little spot right there. You can see that probably pretty good. So we'll just take that out. It's right on the edge too, so we'll just burn right through it. And a couple little spots right up in there. And once again, if you have a little accident, something went wrong, stop what you're doing, let it dry. You can come in and fix it, no problem. It's a little bit of sandpaper. It doesn't really take much. Okay, done. Now we'll hit it again with surface cleaner and a tack rag, and we'll be back to business. Okay, so we're tacked off, and I'm going to blow it off real quick with the air, and we'll start shooting some sealer again. That turned out pretty good. In my mind, that's completely fixed. So that's a real nice even coat right there. So that roof panel is completely done now for sealer. Alright guys, this is where we're going to end episode 2. And what you have to look forward to next week, episode 3, we're going to introduce the colors, both Mocha Pearl from Barrett Jackson's line, Collector Color Series, and I've decided to actually do some highlights in Black Pearl. So some of the internals of the case will have a little bit of Black Pearl on them. So to recap, episode 2, we've sprayed the black sealer. We've also covered how to deal with the problem when they arise, although yours might be different. Just remember to have a little bit of patience and let your paint dry if you run into a problem. Things can be taken care of easily instead of rushing in and making a mess. It's much better to wait. If you do encounter a problem, of course like I did, just wait, let it dry, and then break out your sandpaper, and you can easily take care of problems like that. So far, I believe that in part 1 I said this would just be a 2-part series, so that's really not the case. I really wanted to take you on the total journey here of from start to end, so most likely it's just going to be a mini series. I foresee quite possibly 2 more, episode 3 and 4, where episode 3 basically will shoot color, the mocha and the black, and then the final episode will be actually assembling the case, how to carefully put your case together without scratching it. So there's quite a bit of painting left to do, and actually, you know, when you use a base coat color like that, you have to shoot it clear on it, so there's that too. So 2 parts was not nearly enough to cover in depth what we're doing here and what I'm doing for a DazMode build. So stay tuned. Episode 3 is coming, hopefully next week, and you'll see this beautiful color start to come onto these panels. Thanks for watching.